You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we hang out and talk about everything from hammocks and hammock camping to the group hangs from around the country. Welcome back, everyone, to the Hammock Hangers Podcast. I am your host, Paul Collins, or Skunk Ape. This week, since it is the Friday before HangCon, I wanted to try and get the HangCon crew together to do an episode. I was successful in doing so, -2. Travis Shack, or Captain Carry-On, and Michael Moore, also known as Little Ricky, were not able to make it on with us. So, I will have each of them on a later episode as solo guests. I did, however, manage to get Jane Gillette, or also known as Daddy, Britt Holdren, also known as Big Bear, and of course AJ Lynn, or Pheonix, on together with me. We go over how Jane and Britt got into hammocks, how they found HangCon, and then of course how they became one of the crew members. AJ also goes over a few of the recent guest stats for this year's event. So on with the show to hear some more. All right, everybody, we are back, and this week I actually have 3 people with me, and all 3 of them are actually part of the HangCon crew. I tried to get the whole crew here, but 2 of them had other things come up, and they weren't able to make it. So it's myself, AJ, Pheonix. We got Britt Holdren, Big Bear, and then we have Jane Gillette, Daddy. What's up, y'all?
So, Paul, would you classify this as your first foursome then?
Shut up, AJ. We got to keep this PG, buddy.
What did I sign up for?
So, anyhow, AJ, quit talking. Everybody already knows you, AJ, because you're on here all the time. So we're gonna start off with we'll start off with Jane. Jane, just talk about how you got into hammock camping and then how you found HangCon, and just lead it on up.
Absolutely. So I got into the idea of hammocks right after I had graduated high school. I was looking at colleges, and of course, culture is very, very big in colleges. This was probably around 2014, 2015 time. I did some more research on them, didn't know what I wanted to buy, didn't really want to spend the money on an necessarily. I got a Groupon hammock for about $30, and that's what I used for years up until probably 2019. Just as I did more research into it, I learned about hammock camping. I was always a fan of camping, never liked tents, was always super uncomfortable, but also I didn't ever want to spend the money to make myself comfortable, because with tent camping, it tends to cost quite a bit.
Right.
So I found hammock forums. I started learning a lot more. I found out about these hammock hanging events. I was up in New England at the time. My first one was at Neha, and I just kind of delved into it from there, started to learn as much as I can, started to make my own gear, started to get makeshift gear, things that could work, that wasn't necessarily top of the line, and I wasn't spending a lot of money. And then I found HangCon when I moved down to Florida, and my first HangCon was in 2016, about a month after I made the full move to Florida.
Okay.
From then, I fell in love with everybody that I met there, and I've been going every single year since, and I'm really happy to be a part of the HangCon crew now at this point.
Well, you were definitely
absolutely
the best looking one of us.
Sometimes. That's just because, we just had our midweek and we just showered.
Now, you are a captain of a boat, correct?
I am, yes.
And you actually use your hammock while you're out there on your boat as well, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely do. My boat is a 41-foot sailing auxiliary vessel, so we do have quite a bit of standing rigging, which gives me the option to set up my hammock in different types of rigging scenarios.
Okay. And then I know you have the Yobo stand as well that I've seen pictures.
Yes, that was actually what I started off using, was the Yobo stand. Something that a lot of sailors are afraid of with putting up their hammocks, and even myself as well, so I won't do it for too long, is attaching the hammock to one of the sails. Generally, when people do it, they'll attach it to their main mast, which is close to the center of the boat. And then they'll attach the other end to their jib sail, which is all the way forward. And for a lot of people, my boat included, the sail rolls up on itself. So they're afraid of putting too much pressure on it, and it could kink the wiring inside or possibly break something, which is a completely reasonable thing to be worried about. So when I do it, It's not for long at all. However, when I want to do something overnight, I'll set up my Yobo stand. Since it folds up so nicely, I'm able to just kind of stow it by the end of my cabin, and I can grab at it whenever I need to.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So what about your story, Britt? How did you get into camping and hammock camping and all that?
Well, let's see. So I was real big into just hiking and backpacking in high school and college. In fact, I think the first time I tried to sleep in a hammock is I happened to be at a Army-Navy store, and I saw one of those little wire jungle hammocks that you like tie as tight as possible and then try and sleep on without it flipping you over onto the ground.
Right.
Which is exactly what it did to me like 17 times that night. So I was like, well, I don't know who does this. This is stupid. So I stopped for a little while. And then a little bit, probably a year or so after college, I was on this camping trip, and it was going to be in this, down in the Keys in Florida. And I was like, how cool would it be to like sleep in a hammock? I mean, it's going to be nice. I don't need to worry about being cold. And so I bought one of those cloth, like Amazon style, not Amazon.com style, Jane, because this is back for us old people. When we said Amazon, we meant like the rainforest. But like it's that cloth, that heavy cloth hammock.
You mean like a Brazilian or a Mayan style hammock?
Sure, yeah. Let's go with the Brazilian or a Mayan style.
You mean like a woven cloth hammock?
Yes, a woven cloth hammock.
Could have just said that.
Yeah, but it was funnier to make a joke at your expense. So.
Yeah, thanks.
But I mean, I that, and it was really comfortable. It was the first hammock that, like, the instructions were like, "Hey, if you lay diagonal, your back is flat." And I'm like, "That's brilliant." So I started trying to just like find any excuse I could to sleep in that instead of in one of my tents. I thought I was like the only one doing this stuff. I'm like braving new trail and stuff, and I'm not like I didn't go like searching the internet for all kinds of information, and so and then I had friends, I had some college friends that like had an Eno, and like I'm like, oh, I could never. I'm a bigger guy. I could never fit in one of these like silly little lightweight kind of material things. And then I tried one, and I was like, oh, like I could do this. And I actually bought I believe I got the one link system, and I used that for a little while, and then because of a Kickstarter I saw, I think in 2012, 2013, something like that, I ended up buying a Sierra Madre system through for their first Kickstarter, for their whole setup. And I was like, well, this is way better. It was way more comfortable than the Eno system. The Eno system was, shorter. It was harder to get into, and so on. Right. And that was about the time I had this who thought I was a moron for spending $350 on
who
a
is
hammock
this?
system.
Who was that?
I believe his name is Adja. Oh, it's AJ. That's
AJ,
right.
gotcha.
He thought I
Okay.
was an idiot for spending money on a hammock system, which I believe sent him down an internet rabbit hole.
Yeah, you do know he blames you,
As he
right?
does, as he does.
Well, yeah, I know.
He blames you for the whole thing.
I'm reminded by that, and every time he's buying a new hammock, his wife ends up glaring at me almost as much as she glares at him. And I just was buying something myself. It's not my fault. He fell into an internet rabbit hole and discovered this whole new world of camping and outdoor excitement. And so it was actually through AJ and his delving into, I believe, the forums that I first found and went to HangCon. And then I have gone to HangCon since that first year. I think I went just for 1 or 2 nights that first year, or one night that first year, and then have gone back as a participant
Gotcha.
since. And now I have the wonderful job of being the little pin that pokes the egos of my friends in charge of stuff to keep them level-headed and on the ground. I mean, at least attached to the ground.
I want to say that Britt, Jane, and I's first HangCon was the same year.
Okay.
2014
or 2016.
I believe so.
2016. It was the last year that it was at Doe Lake.
Oh,
I went to Doe Lake a couple years.
Yeah, I went to
Doe Lake 2 or 3 times.
I was at Doe Lake only once.
Oh, okay.
Then the year after that, we moved to Sertoma.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, I don't know if you heard a couple of weeks ago, Britt, the episode with AJ, where he was talking about his online, friend making abilities and your involvement. Now, he didn't go into great detail. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
How long is this podcast?
Jane has limited battery life.
I'm at 34%.
So what I'm hearing AJ say is that he'd rather me not tell the story so that Jane's computer battery lasts the whole time, not because it would paint him in an unfortunate light.
No, not quite. I just don't want us to get randomly stabbed by a random hooded individual later on.
Yeah, he gave the short version.
The Saturday night
it didn't happen the first time.
Slit.
It didn't happen the first time.
Yeah,
I don't imagine why it would happen this
That might
time.
not be a good story to share.
Well,
no, it's not. It's a long time ago, and it's funny to reminisce a little bit.
Yes, I love hearing the story. I laugh every time, especially when Britt's telling it, because I hear it from Britt's side, so I get the full story.
Well, you get the parts that AJ leaves out to try and save face.
Not only does AJ leave stuff out, but I mean, you got from beginning to end. AJ just had like a center section of the story.
Right. I was the dope that kind of got roped into things that just didn't fully understand.
Oh God, that is so funny. So, now, I don't know if we mentioned it earlier or not. Jane, her role, I mean, she does a lot, at HangCon, but one of her main roles is she helps out Travis in the kitchen with all the cooking. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if you saw AJ's post earlier, Jane.
I did not.
Where we are over 400 people registered so far.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So there's going to be a lot of cooking this year.
Oh my God. Oh, I can't wait to make so much cobbler.
There's going to be a lot of cobblers.
That's my favorite part, is making the cobbler.
Yeah, on I think Friday and Saturday, AJ, we have like 6 cobblers, at least 6 cobblers that we're doing.
At least 6.
I mean, we might have to step that up a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening and they're coming to HangCon, bring a Dutch oven.
bring a Dutch oven. So are you ready for all that cooking?
You know what? I am ready to hunker down and chop a ton of potatoes and help cook out. Yeah, I am ready. I'm very excited for it. I'm ready for a break. Also,
Yes.
even though it's all work and it's all cooking, it is still a break for me.
Yeah, I can see that. It is. I mean, with as busy as AJ and I usually are, there as well. I look at it as being a break, just getting away.
It's a good type of busy. Like,
Yes.
I think one of the great things that I like about our HangCon crew is we all have certain jobs that we all get a lot done. And yeah, we're constantly working our tail off, but it's a good work. It's a good feeling to get the stuff done that we need to get done. And, considering all the feedback that we've gotten, we do a pretty darn good job with it too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, I would think if we weren't, the numbers wouldn't continue to grow. I mean, last year we had right at 100 or right at 300 or just over?
Right at 300. Yep.
So I mean, this year, a year later, we're 100 plus more, so, speaking of which, okay, so I just, mentioned that we have over 400 registered so far, and we still have a week to go. And I mean, right now, the registrations have actually picked up. You've seen that. And, this final week, they'll pick up as well. So, I mean, I honestly see us having probably close to 450 people there.
It's going to be crazy. It's definitely going to be crazy.
Yes.
Do you want me to go over some of the numbers and some of the breakdowns?
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to ask you to do. Just go over some of the numbers.
Okay, so I looked at our registrations right before I hopped on here. We have exactly 401 people registered. We have 30 of 50 states represented from people coming from all the way across the country. We've got people coming out from Washington and Oregon, all the way down to Florida. We've got people coming from New York, all over the country. So Southwest, let's not mess up these flight plans, please. So out of the 401 registered, 203 people that have registered are their very first time. So over half of our registrants, this is their very first time of HangCon, and that's
awesome.
And that's exciting to me because that's the type of people our vendors really want to see. That's great for me to see the people that have spent money with them, but new customers that could potentially, increase their business and exposure is also really awesome. 105 of the 400 are people coming back for their second year. So that's our second largest demographic that I guess that we have with our numbers. And 44 are 3 to 5 year veterans, and 49 of them are us old timers where we've been there 5+ years.
Right.
So,
and we also know that there's we know of some that haven't registered yet that we stay on.
Yeah, I would encourage anybody that is listening that if you have made the decision to say, hey, I'm coming to HangCon, if you would please go on our website and make that registration official. It doesn't cost you anything, but it truly helps us get the best numbers for when we purchase the food and supplies for the event. Also,
yes.
If something has come up that you're unfortunately now not able to make it, if you would just drop either me or Paul an email saying, hey, something's come up. I have registered, but I won't be able to attend. That also helps us a huge bit as well.
I think I've only had 2 people reach back out to me and something come up, but I'm glad that they do. because it gives us, better numbers and everything. But
Absolutely. So, another thing that I know a lot of people have been asking me about, out of the 400 people registered, 236 are coming in on Thursday.
okay.
So, most people will be coming in on Thursday. There's also another 140 that will be coming in on Friday. So, if that is an indication to anybody that if you want to get a site really close to the action at HangCon, Thursday after 12 o'clock is probably the best time to come, set up, find your spot. If you want a spot near the action, but you may not be getting there till later on Thursday or Friday, a stand is really your best option. We will have 2 vendors on site that will be selling stands. Tensa and Yovo will be on site if you would be interested in checking out some of their stands. I have both of them. And both are really great stands and really good pieces of gear that it would really benefit you if you really want to choose your own adventure in your site selection. If you don't get a site in the main area, the primitive area is huge. It goes back really, really far, and there's plenty of options up there. It will be a little bit further from the kind of main attractions and the bathhouses. I know we got an email earlier this week asking about facilities, but there are facilities there. It's just a matter of where you get set up.
Yeah, it's either six or 8 restrooms. Well, up at the one big one, it's either 6 or 8 individual stalls.
Correct.
For the commodes. And on the back side, you have showers. So there's about 6 or 8 showers as well. And then I know down by the big pavilion, there's a men's, women's, and a handicap restroom down there as well. So, real quick, Jane, what is it that you like the best about HangCon, and what keeps bringing you back from the time that you started?
That's a great question. I think just my favorite part about HangCon is that it's a place where I can relax. I can have a little bit of fun. I can meet new people. I can learn new things if I choose to. If I choose not to, I can hang out with people I already know. I can sit in my hammock, relax, read. It gives me a chance to catch up with people that I haven't seen in a year. People like our vendors who only come once a year and I don't get to go to other hangs where they're at. I just like to disconnect and I like to vibe. I thoroughly enjoy being there. It's very relaxing for me.
Okay. What about you, Britt? What keeps you coming back to HangCon? And what is it that you like best about it?
I love camping in general. It never fails to be a beautiful weekend here in Florida to be camping and outdoors. Even if it gets cold, at least as our friends that come from northern states would go, "This isn't that cold. What are you talking about?" So it's. Yeah, I think the coldest it's ever gotten was down into the 30s, which for some folks,
23 degrees my first year at Doe Lake.
Okay.
That was in 15,
maybe
I think.
One time, and that was for what, like an hour in the middle of the night, that one night?
No, but that was also, I do have to say, that was at Doe Lake, and we were right there on the lake too, which probably...
Right, Doe Lake was a little chillier
of
of a location. I love the community. The hammock community is, it's such a fun community to kind of connect with, and be a part of. Everybody is so friendly and so willing to, talk about their setups and why they have it the way they have it, and how things work best for them and where they got this and that. And so there's so much to learn and glean. Like I said earlier, for a long time, I thought I was some kind of weird, brilliant person deciding that hammock camping was the best way to camp. And I'm camping in like a woven hammock that must have weighed 80 pounds. Didn't really have tree straps or any of that kind of stuff. And I mean, it was, looking back at it now, it's kind of embarrassing that was how I started, thinking that somehow I was actually, doing something new. And now finding out that there's been folks trying to and successfully camping in hammocks for a long time. And there was a lot to learn, and really still there's always something to learn. Some new way to do something, or some piece of gear that, I hadn't thought of yet, and somebody else was brilliant enough to come up with, that just makes the whole process even, more comfortable or more fun or easier and more accessible.
And a new piece of gear that I will soon be purchasing.
Well, 3. So I don't know if y'all two have heard or not. We can't say who or anything, but we know of at least 3 pieces of new gear that are going to be debuted at HangCon this year.
Oh, that's pretty exciting. Ooh. That's also been there's something about going to a thing like this that has all these different vendors that love the community and want to be a part of that. Like they want to be a part of the community. They're not just making products to like throw at us. They want to listen to the hikers and the campers and the backpackers, and say, okay, well, how can we do this differently? How does this work? And the times that I've watched some of these vendors, like hear someone asking a question and just get super excited to share their own passion. That kind of stuff is, it's a bit, I don't know. It's one of those things that just kind of endeared the whole process to me. So, yeah.
Well, I know this year we're going to have more vendors there and actually set up than we have in the past as well.
That's exciting.
So Dutch is even going to be there with a booth set up.
Awesome.
He's bringing a couple of people with him, a couple of his workers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
That way he can still, enjoy like that he normally does.
Participate and have fun.
Yes.
And,
Dutch can still do the Dutch thing, but he'll have the booth there for the guest and everything to be able to.
Well, and this year we don't actually have to. Are we going to actually have to go buy him burgers to make him a burger push this year, or is he going to be able to just get some because we're potentially offering some lunch options?
Oh, it's not potentially off.
Is that still happening?
It's not potential. Yeah. We're gonna be doing lunches as well.
Right, and they're like it's like burgers,
hamburgers,
like
and hot dogs.
Kind of thing.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, drink.
The exact thing that he loves on the trail, he can do at HangCon in an even better way than how we picked on him last year with.
So I'll talk about that a little bit, because I think that's the first time that we may have mentioned this on the podcast about HangCon this year. We are going to be offering lunches for Friday and Saturday.
I thought we had talked about it before.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not. Go ahead.
So we're going to be offering lunches on Friday and Saturday, just those 2 days. And we're going to be offering 100 lunches. So we're probably going to offer somewhere around 75 hot dogs and probably about 25 hamburgers. If we need more, we can go ahead and make more and things like that. We just didn't want to, say dedicating, we're going to make 200 hamburgers and only use 50 of them.
Right.
So we're going to be offering those. For $5, you can get a hot dog, a bag of chips, and a drink. And for $7, you can get a hamburger, a bag of chips, and a drink. And we'll have ketchup and mustard and all those fixins and condiments that you can use. So because there really isn't a close place to go for lunch. The nearest place is about a half hour away. And we've got a lot going on. And I know a lot of people don't want to miss the things that we have going on during the day, Friday and Saturday. So just staying on site, you would actually spend more money in gas than you would just hopping over to the kitchen and picking up one of our hamburgers and hot dog lunches.
And with this being our first year, we're really having to use this year to regulate and see how well it goes and stuff like that. So we know, for next year what we'll be able to get and everything. So
it's kind of our trial run as far as, food vending outside of our normal breakfast and dinners.
Yes. Yep. So, is there anything else that you need to add or anything, AJ?
I want to say our early bird raffle sales for our tickets has ended, and we had an amazing turnout with people donating and purchasing early bird raffle tickets, which is a huge help for us. We had approximately 90 people have bought raffle tickets. Some people have bought multiple batches because some people have a certain strategy that they use to kind of help get the most out of the raffle. And so they buy tickets to the super early bird, and they buy tickets in person, and they might buy tickets a few other times. But we really couldn't do this event without that support. And so if you bought our early raffle tickets, from the sincerest part of my heart, thank you. You're the reason that this event can take place.
Yep.
Not to mention even having the raffle at all because of our vendors and those who donate those types of items to us to raffle off.
Absolutely. And like Paul mentioned, we're going to have a slew of new vendors on site, and another variety of vendors as well. I know a good buddy of mine has committed to coming to HangCon this year. He is the owner of Mike D's Barbecue. So if you haven't seen his post, go out on our Facebook, check him out. So we have a barbecue vendor. We've got T-shirt vendors. We have, of course, hammock gears, tarps, quilts, hammocks. Oddly enough,
water filters.
Lots of outdoor
Everything.
gear. I know Barry from Fire and Ice. 803 Coffee is going to be there. It's just a wide assortment of outdoor gear, not just hammocks, but hammocks is also, for obvious reasons, a big part of our vendor population as well. Oh, Hammock Hangers Flea Market.
Oh, yeah, there you
go. So something else, just a reminder for everybody coming to HangCon. We are going to have our Hammock Hangers Flea Market set up. It's a great place to buy new, slightly used gear. It's a good place to sell some of your gently used gear that you may not use or just didn't work out for you. It might be exactly what it takes to get somebody else into hammock camping, or you just may have that piece of gear that one person has been looking for to really complete their kit. So bring your gear to set up. And we have forms that we fill out, and kind of just, you don't even have to stay with your gear, and people can call you or text you or PayPal you. It's a really smooth transition and a really smooth way that we kind of get gear moving throughout the community. So don't forget to bring your youth gear if you are able. We're going to have a ton of food. We're going to have the Raging Fire. Just placed an order or talked to a lady a couple of weeks ago about getting us firewood for the event. The weather. We've got some early looks at the weather, and the weather is really, really looking nice. We're talking highs in the mid to upper 60s and lows in the upper to mid 40s. Obviously that may change a little bit between here and there, but it doesn't look like we're dropping down into the 20s, or it doesn't look like we're looking at lows in the 60s. So it should be really prime camping weather.
Yep. Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now. I mean, the furthest I can go out is the 11th, so the day before HangCon starts, and it's showing a high of 68 and a low of 48. So, and of course, anybody can go onto our website and see the forecast on there as well, because I got that set up for the Brooksville area over there. So, was there anything that you wanted to add or anything, Jane?
I guess one thing that I would love to add is that I am looking to do a CPR, AED, first aid certification course during HangCon. Maybe we could put up like a Google form throughout this week just to see how many people are interested, to see what I'm going to need to be bringing. But that is an option. If anyone needs a certification re-upped, I will be offering those throughout the week.
Okay. How's that going to work? Because I know the teaching that you're going to be doing is going to be free, right?
Yes, the instruction is free. It's something that I'm offering, kind of volunteering to do on my own time. However, there is the cost for the certification itself, and I apologize, I don't have those numbers completely ready just yet. However, I'd be able to take cash or Venmo, PayPal, something similar for those prices. And again, that is just the cost for the certification. I'm not charging for my instruction time.
Okay. That's what I was saying. I just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you for asking that.
So, and then, are there any classes that you're going to be doing, Britt?
That I'm teaching?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Not yet. Yeah, I probably will get roped into something, but for now, at least I haven't been told that I'm going to be teaching anything.
What about the pot koozie class?
I think we roped somebody else into that.
Did we? Okay.
I think I might be roping two people into it. One of them is Matt.
Oh, and the other is Britt.
And the other may be Britt. Spoiler alert.
See, this is why I don't want to come on these podcasts, because I feel like I'm gonna get pressured into doing things, and AJ has a history of pressuring me into doing things, and I didn't really know what they meant they were going to be until well after.
You're on the road heading to camp.
I mean, we do have an individual that needs to be picked up at the airport.
No, thank you. Unless I know them already.
You know them. You just haven't met them.
What?
You know them. You just haven't met them.
Are you just telling me this now on the podcast so I can't say no?
Oh, no. It'll have to either be you or AJ that picks them up, though. I thought I've told you about him. It's Derek Hansen.
Oh, it's like this is a person that other people know.
Yes,
and not just not just AJ from like the dark hovels of the internet.
Whatever.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So I mean, if you do have to pick them up, I think you'll be safe. I don't think you have any altercations.
I'm sure I'll be all right.
I mean, I know you have a little bit of you're a little skittish when AJ asks you to do certain stuff, but
that doesn't sound sketchy at all. At all.
Oh God! Right. So. All right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, we'll go ahead and close it out, and then I will see y'all all in a couple of weeks for HangCon.
Looking forward to it.
You mean next week?
Well, yeah. I mean,
we're only a week away.
Yeah, we're like what 8-9 days away, something like that, isn't it?
Well, it's Monday, and it's
officially
next Thursday.
10 days.
Yes, officially.
Yeah,
10 days.
But we have to show up early because we have things to do.
Yes. So, All right, y'all. Then I appreciate y'all coming on, and appreciate you coming on, Jane, even though you're out there in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on, Paul.
And I'll have you back on sometime in the future also, and do like a solo episode. Same with you, Britt.
Absolutely.
And then
Cool.
maybe whenever I have Britt back on, I can pressure him into telling the whole story.
Pressure comes in the form of little green slips of paper.
Yeah. Well, look, you do know that a couple of weeks ago when we mentioned it, we did mention that, the story might be told around the group campfire at HangCon. So,
well,
I don't know about that.
That's one thing. The group, what stays at the group what happens at the group fire stays at the group fire.
Stays at the group fire.
What is said on Paul's podcast is on the internet for anyone and everyone to hear whenever they want.
Right, that's also true. Well, also, you guys, we just heard about how many new people are coming to HangCon this year.
Don't scare
Do
them.
we really want to be? Saying things like what happened around the fire stays around the fire? I mean, half of everybody showing up is new, and they're going to be hearing about how people got their trail names and stuff like that. And, I mean, mine's not that embarrassing, but some of y'all's might be embarrassing.
I don't know whose that would be.
Oh Lord! Oh God! Oh, I love all y'all. Y'all are great. So,
Paul, I feel like you started this podcast just to pull us on the internet and to share things that we say normally just around a fire for the entire internet to hear.
that is an idea.
This is it's nothing but a ruse of blackmail is what this is.
Is that all it is?
That's all this is.
Oh, great. All right, y'all. It was good talking to all y'all, and I will see y'all all in a couple of weeks.
All right, see you next week.
It's great to see you
See ya.
guys.
Adios.
See you in a week.
It's always such a great time hanging out with this group, or even doing what we did today and just coming on to chat some. I can't wait until next week when we're all out there at HangCon together, cutting up, relaxing, and just having a great time. Having friends like all of you is a real pleasure. I hope to meet a lot of our listeners at HangCon next week as well, so we can all have a great time hanging out together. Just make sure that if you have decided to come and join us, to please make sure that you have gone to our website and filled out the registration form. Doing so helps us to ensure that we have an accurate head count for all of the food and such that we need to purchase. Also, if you are enjoying the Hammock Hangers podcast and you would like to help us grow, make sure to leave a review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or any other platform that you are listening from. You can also go to the Hiking Radio Network website, click on the Hammock Hangers podcast page, and leave a review there as well. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well, and share us with your friends. So until next week, happy hanging, everyone.